I need you to tell me why I wake up every day and I don't recognize myself.
Are you all right?
Not really.
It's almost like I have to choose to remember, as if I just popped into existence with all these feelings and memories. But then I just have to tell myself, these aren't mine.
I was your age and a girl.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't go home. What does that mean? And I'm here today, and then tomorrow it's gone.
I would like to introduce our alumni. First of all, director-writer Kellen Gibbs. A little bit about Kellen. Tomorrow will be the debut feature for this California-born writer and director. It was 2013 that he left Pacific Grove to attend film school in Los Angeles, New York Film Academy, where he learned his craft as a filmmaker. After 2 years of film school, he created an extensive portfolio, including fan films ranging from 10 to 90 minutes in length, multiple short films, a 2-season web series with over 4 hours of content. His success did not escape the notice of the Screen Actors Guild, which invited Kellen to participate in the short film showcase of 2016 with his college thesis, The Moment I Was Alone. Kellen's work has been nominated and invited to screen in numerous festivals, screening venues, award ceremonies, including the 34th Annual Fort Lauderdale International Film Festival, Carmel Film Festival, Idyllwild Festival of Cinema, the Hollywood Music and Media Awards, and legendary Digital Short Ends. His films have received over 40 award nominations. It's okay.
Yeah, we made Harry Potter films.
And with us, we have a wonderful part of our cast. They're all NYFA alumni. Jordan Knapp. Brandon Knabe. Simmie Sangian. And Caprice Colvin. A few of our other alumni that that took part in this as cast and crew. Diego Medellin.
Medellin.
Hildebrand, Chiara Beltran, Nicholas Puro, Christian Bulich. So we have a lot of our NYFA crew here and on the screen. So it's a wonderful, sweet, wonderful film. Why did you want to tell this story?
I think the easy answer is I really wanted to make a feature.
I'm going to shift the chair a little bit.
Yeah,
just so I'm not talking in your ear.
Cool. The long answer is it was the scene at the everyone asked me this question. It's actually a hard one to answer, but the scene at the end was like something that kind of somewhat happened to me as a kid, where I walked into my room with my mom because I for some reason started crying that night because I had this like existential dread where I was like, oh God, I'm gonna die one day. And I went to my mom's room and said, oh, I'm gonna die one day and I'm really scared of that. And she was like, had to calm me down, put me back to bed. I was probably like 8 years old, maybe younger than that, maybe closer to 5 years old. And then that stood out as like a really cool scene or like a piece of a movie. And then the idea of like waking up in a different body, which is not an idea it's an idea that's been done before, but it's not an original idea. And I thought that could be a vehicle to this kind of like existential story of what are we, where do we come from, and that type of question. And then I just kind of left off and I took it and wrote a feature off of it. Yeah.
And for you. It seems like there's a certain message about, especially for kids, about bullying.
Mm-hmm.
and how they react and how kids behave with that. Was that ever part of the story consciously, or was it just this existential, like, who am I and what I'm going to wake up as?
I think it's cool because it starts, the beginning of the movie is like about a kid who's being bullied, and it's very like simple problems that like everyday people kind of go through, and then it grows to a bigger story. And I thought that was like a cool juxtaposition where like you kind of bring it down to the most simple problems, and that's like something that we could, that like is, and that messed me up on my answer. That was something that we could like focus on.
Wait, okay. Sorry, I'm losing it. Okay.
You rehearsed this, all right?
I did in the mirror before this. I was yeah, I thought it was a really cool kind of like vehicle into this, as a kid who gets bullied and then has a fight with their parent and then goes on this journey and just wants to get back home and realizes, oh, home wasn't that bad. You know, even the bullying, even I'll take that back, that wasn't that bad. But all this stuff I'm going through is just too big.
Were any of these characters ever in your life or real?
I don't think so. I think at the end it says that it's not based on anything on purpose, because I don't want to. But yeah, I think they all derive from people that I've known, but I don't think they ever won. I can't say that Julia, the mom in it, is my mom, or that I ran into a church and screamed bloody murder. So yeah, it all derives from certain things. Yeah.
Okay. What films? I know you say there are pieces of other films. What films inspired you for this?
I'd say a lot of Spielberg, a lot of like the like kid. One of the big references when we were doing like visual, like lookbooks and stuff, was AI, and just even that end scene with the lights hitting the back of her head. She's really had that like rim light. That was big for me, because I like the way that like Janusz Kaminski does his stuff, where it like pops and there's like a glow to it, and I thought that was really cool for something like this, because it's taking on that, you know, that existential journey and kind of like a larger than life type feel to it. But like definitely that. I feel like every time I go in to talk about anything, I've always brought up Christopher Nolan. So Christopher Nolan always inspires me, and his type of stuff. And yeah, I think those are kind of the two that I pull from. And then I'm sure I have a laundry list of other ones that I pull from, but yeah, those are the two.
I recently saw this interview with Stanley Kubrick, and he talked about a conversation that he had with Steven Spielberg. And he had asked Steven, what is the most difficult and challenging part of directing? And Spielberg said, getting out of the car. So I think we all will relate to that in some way. So what was the most difficult and challenging part of making this? You wrote it and directed it, so there are two different challenges probably. But what did you think was the biggest challenge?
Working with all of them. No, I'm just kidding. No,
Good thing they're on that side.
Yeah, exactly. This is the border here. I think the hardest part was taking little pieces of stories and bringing them together to tell one cohesive story. Now, like every day I would go and say, did I do it? Is this working as this part? Is this telling this arc? Because you have like they would come in for a day or a couple days, depending on the role, and then they'd be off, and that's all you'd get from them. So they're not building the characters with you; they're building portions of the characters, and I had to kind of make sure that I did justice to their performances and made that whole story feel complete and feel like they were, you know, completing this arc as well. So I guess the opposite of that, I think there was kind of some fear of like making sure that your guys' performance stood out and making sure that that it worked in the grand scheme of the whole movie for this one. Yeah.
What do you think the biggest risk was that you had to take with making this?
The easy answer is COVID. Is that we shot in the middle of COVID, so we were all, it was like at the peak of COVID too. It was
January 21.
You shot January 21, right? And then we started in January 20. November 20. And then we had to be like masked up and everything. We were all just very scared that potentially we could be infecting people, or, you know, we were getting tested at the beginning of the week and then making sure that, you know, we were all good, but we had no cases, which was very awesome. And I mean, at a certain point, it all kind of went away, and then I'm there to make a movie, and then and then the fear of making a movie actually comes in. Then it's not about COVID anymore, but
Oh my God, I have to make a movie.
yeah.
What did I do?
Yeah.
I have to get out of the car.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely did.
What was the most enjoyable part of the project? Working with them.
I was gonna say it. Working with Brandon. I was just gonna, probably that, like, in less about actors and more about the whole crew, working with these different people. And the cool thing about having actors is I got to meet so many different actors and different personalities and figure out how to work with them, how they worked, and how to, like, bring, again, the best stuff out of them. That was very enjoyable, and oddly enough, the thing that was the scariest and thing that was most enjoyable were the two same things. So, but it kind of works like that, I think, sometimes.
Yeah. We, as you know, here, we talk a lot about collaboration. It's our mantra as an institution. I think it's so wonderful and such a great reflection of the whole school and the departments that the collaboration continued after you all graduated, because you graduated in 2015.
Yes.
How did that come about? Did you know these actors before? Were they just, oh my God, you came in for a casting call, you're from NYFA? Me too. How did the collaboration happen?
Different ways for each person. Jordan was in my thesis. She was in The Moment I Was Alone. Brandon was in my first semester or something.
The first time I ever auditioned in LA was when, like, the acting students had to go and audition for all the directors. I auditioned for him. It's, probably a lot of people can relate. It's just all the actors trying to overcry each other. Like the best actor, and I got him.
Yeah. He cried his heart out, man. Just kidding.
So that was first semester.
That was right at the beginning.
First thing ever,
Wow. See where it leads. Be careful.
I want to say a story just to point out Jordan, and then we're going to go to how he met Simmie. Jordan was going. She was I saw her in a play at NYFA, and then we did auditions.
Those words too.
Yeah, they do. We did auditions for The Moment I Was Alone, and we had a casting director, and she had all these people that were going to come in and do it for us, and I was like, I have this girl, Jordan Knapp, I really think she's going to be good in it. She's like, okay, but I have all these people. And then I bring in Jordan Knapp, and Jordan brings in a picture of a headshot, and she didn't have headshots, so she printed it out on a NYFA printer, and it's just a black and white square at the top. And I'm sitting there going, oh God, I'm embarrassed now because I bring in this girl. And she blew it out of the water, and from then on, I'm a huge fan of Jordan Knapp. So.
Do you have a headshot now?
I have many headshots.
Yeah.
Good to know.
And then Simmie, I don't really know how we met. Mutual friends. But Simmie has worked on, this is the second production you worked on with me, I think, right? Third, you're right. Yeah. And this is the second one you've acted in. And Simmie also did our makeup, so she was on set all the time. And she's an incredible actress too. I feel like I was like, Simmie, this role is way too small for you, but if you want to do it, we have it open, so here you go. Because I've seen her stuff before.
There are no small roles.
That's true, sorry. And then Caprice we met through mutual friends too. And then I think it was, I watched his demo reel and was like, oh, he's really good. I want him to jump off a building. And then the rest is history.
How did you do that? Because I'm so afraid of heights, and I was going, oh my God, I can't look at that scene. Where did you film that?
We filmed it on a building in downtown LA. And he actually jumped. He's Tom Cruise. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's funny because we did like a green screen effect, but there was the thing that was like the edge that he stood on, and we put a green screen in front of it and we superimposed him. But he actually had to jump. It was probably about this high, and he fell flat onto a pad, not onto the ground. It was pretty awesome.
I'm back the next day though.
You felt it, yeah.
Well, let me ask the actors. Start with Jordan. What was the most challenging and the most fun part of doing this project as an actor?
Getting the role. The way that I got this was actually, I was supposed to play the girl with the red tank top. Her name is Anna Telfer. She's a wonderful actress. Mm-hmm. I was supposed to play her part originally, but the person who was supposed to take my role came down with COVID. She lived in Atlanta.
Before we were shooting.
Before we were shooting, yeah. But she, like, the most difficult part, my coach for that audition is here right now, Kathy Gianone, everybody. Yeah. But working with Kathy G, because I think Kellen gave me like a 3-day turnaround or something. It was like, hey, we've got this role that just opened up. If you want to do it, just prepare this. And but
she did great.
She
got the role.
I did okay. And then, but yeah, getting the role was like, it was a turn because it was a much bigger, emotional, chunkier part. And I think probably tapping into those emotions before certain life situations had happened that I didn't know what they would feel like. But then looking back now, it's fun. Yeah.
After it was done.
Yeah. Kinda. Yeah.
You cried that whole night.
Yeah.
You cried that whole night. Oh, man.
Was I one of the first people that got cast?
You were, yeah, actually.
I remember this. This was in the height of COVID, so like everybody was inside. And I remember you called me, and I was like in my closet. He's like, "Do you want to be in a movie?" I'll do anything. Yeah. I think the most hardest thing is my character Ben is the first. He's the first person that interacts with Harper and questions her. So I had to kind of figure out that balance of how much, like, figure out the history, because we had to create that history, kind of that background. So that was kind of the most difficult thing. Actually, is it Callie? Callie, who played Layla. We did that on set. I mean, we sat down and just did about a 20-minute improv of our history. And what kind of we created is, I don't know if I should keep that a secret, but
yeah, let's leave it to them.
Okay. That we actually created that there's a lot of history to that.
Yeah.
And there's a deeper, and that's kind of the first time he's seen her in a little bit. So that was kind of the challenging thing. It's just kind of, and it was fun. It's just taking a character from nothing and just creating its own world. So that was, I would say that was the most hardest thing. Yeah.
Simmie, what about you?
Let me use this. I mean, I did the hair and makeup, and that was, I didn't know I was going to be in it towards the end. So I guess that day, it's just, for me, it was focusing on everyone's hair, everyone's makeup, because there were quite a few people that day at church. And it was a night shoot, right? So I guess just running around, and me, because I am an actor, focusing on that and not letting the hair and makeup side take over my brain. So I guess just relaxing, just doing my work on set as an actor.
I remember us talking about it too. I was like, saying, okay, you need to like focus on acting. Yeah.
I think the most difficult thing I had to work on pretty much was not pushing. I had this conversation with Kellen just about that scene specifically, because in my mind it went a certain way, and it's like, oh, she's supposed to be this super emotional person getting ready to jump off this building, but that just wasn't what was in mind for the scene, and seeing how it turned out, it was perfect, actually. But yeah, pretty much what was the last scene, so.
Yeah, it was like the last thing we shot.
The last one we shot.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
And yeah, that's the most difficult thing, I think.
Also, to piggyback, kind of, I think the big one was like a through line of this 8-year-old girl in everybody. And like, how does everyone relate? Is there like a speech impediment? Is there like a certain physicality, a certain trait, whatever? That was a difficult.
That you can bring as a thread.
Yeah.
I remember that was kind of a worry of yours.
Yeah.
I was part of the casting process as well, and I mean, how many actors did we look at?
I couldn't tell you.
I mean,
that is a ton.
probably
Yeah.
hundreds.
Uh-huh.
Hundreds, because was there 56 actors in it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Knowing where that person, how far that character is going to go, like, are they still going to act like a little girl? Like, when's to the point when they kind of grow up and become that new person that they're in?
Totally.
So that was interesting, kind of seeing you do that kind of character part and working on that.
Going a little crazy.
You were going a little crazy.
Yeah.
I will say it's cool to see. This was like the first time you doing a feature. It was cool to see him like take on that. As like being like my best friend, like seeing you take on that was very, very exciting.
Did you have a rehearsal period?
We did. We did like, it was hard because of COVID. I like actually like get in a space and rehearse, but because of COVID, we did it over Zoom. And we did, a lot of the rehearsals for me is just talking about it and then letting you guys play, and then you play for a little bit, and then it's like, oh, maybe we try this a little bit. Let's not go too far here, so that you kind of save it on the day. But that's kind of what we did. Is like, most of it was like, probably an hour of just talking, reading the script, talking through the script, talking where they're at.
Continuity.
Exactly, yeah. And then Diego was the only one that got to be on set with, go Diego, yeah. He was the first.
He wanted to be here.
He's
Yeah.
great. He's great.
Where are you
Yeah.
at?
He was the first. What are you talking
It's
about?
Mexico.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, he was the first one that she jumps into, and so we shot his scene like right after, during when we were shooting and stuff. So he came on set and he was able to watch it because he had been COVID tested, so he was able to watch her and kind of take stuff from it. Then everybody else got footage from like an assembly cut of the scenes, and then they got to watch that and take what they wanted to out of that, and then we would talk about it. And yeah, it was fun to see what people brought to it. Like you added a line, right? Didn't you add that's horse crap? Like that wasn't really in the script, and then you're like, oh, let's put that in there. I think when we were rehearsing it, yeah, that's something like that.
Three's a charm.
Improv.
Yeah. Improv. Improv. Yeah.
What did you feel you learned from doing this particular project? Or you've done a whole bunch of projects in smaller films. What do you feel you learned while you were a student on your film that you can share with students?
I think the cool thing about it is like the breakdown of what a film actually is. A film is, and this sounds kind of like, I don't know, cliche, but
One
like,
of your teachers?
yeah, it's like 24 frames a second that makes up an image, and an image makes up a shot makes up a scene, multiple shots make up a scene, multiple scenes make up a movie. And with something like this, where you have multiple scenes being different people, and you're piecing little things together, you really feel how it's all kind of like a montage, and you're putting all these pieces in these building blocks, because like the old man was supposed to happen later in the movie and was moved to earlier in the movie because it helped the character arc. So like the way in which you can shuffle things around, and how it's just pictures, it's just pictures that are making that into something. Yeah.
What about you all as actors? What did you feel you learned that you can share and advise our students about?
I am hitting 10 years in Los Angeles this September. And I actually thought of this the other day with a friend, that like, especially to actors, do every single project you're offered, because half of them will not come out. No, like seriously, they lose incentive, they lose money, whatever, but do every single project you can get your hands on, because that's only helping you, if anyone.
Good advice.
I will say that almost the same thing. Copy and paste it, but also just patience. Don't put a time period on it.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, trust me, like, it took me 5 years to get an agent, and another year after that to get a manager, and things will move. Things die down, and then they'll come back. You just have to be patient and go along with the process. Bro, trust me, just be patient. Good things will happen. Don't put a time period on it. It's just gonna add more stress. And just have fun. Just try to enjoy it. Just try to have fun.
Yeah.
And I think you always need to remember that you're not alone. And all of the people you meet at this school and the friends you make, I'm friends with nearly everyone that I met at NYFA still, and we're making projects together. So you have people, and it's a lot harder if you don't. So I would say just open yourself up and get to know people and do all the projects and make connections and friends.
Breeze?
I'll say do the work. Just try to work as much as possible when you can, including auditioning, because believe me, you hit a stage where it's like you're auditioning and then it just hit a halt. It's like, what did I do? And then you start that experience and being able to like self-tape and things like that. I think the most of my projects I've done has come from just working with people and word of mouth and things like that. Like that's pretty much how I even met Kellen, and we shot a short. I came on for this project, and then just by knowing him for this project after COVID put a hold on everything, we shot a short over COVID. Doing because we felt like working. So I'll say that I think that's the most important thing that we don't need to forget, that it's all about the craft at the end of the day. So just stay on top of it.
Add something to that. And I talk to Kellen about this all the time. It's 80% business. The amount of time you're actually on set is so rare, and the amount of times you actually get to work So enjoy auditioning, because that's, you're gonna audition, you're gonna work more doing auditions than you're gonna be on set. It's just realistic to me. So watch YouTube videos. Honestly, watch YouTube videos and listen to podcasts. That's how I've learned everything about like the business of acting. Add to that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Kellen, what next?
Oh, there's yeah.
Now that I asked.
So I'm writing a satire right now that's about a guy in a radio station, and it's essentially it's a guy who has basically the worst day of his life. So he decides to lock himself in his job in the radio station and go on the air and just say his mind. And it's a wild ride. So I'm in the middle of writing that. I have a couple scripts that my manager's tossing around to people. We'll see which one hits. I feel like it's going to be the radio one because it feels like the most doable. And that tends to be, that's a good thing. It's like, do what you can. Like, take the opportunities that are set in front of you too. Like, that's what I realized with this one is make something that's obtainable right now. And it doesn't have to kill the movie. It doesn't have to, you don't have to, make a movie about a person in one location. If your story works for that, then do it. But do what's available now. And that's kind of what I've been taking, because I spent a lot of time waiting for money to make it, and now it's like, okay, I can actually get some of this stuff. So just go make stuff. That's what I'm trying to do.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. I would love to open it up to other questions from our audience. Is there a mic back there or no? Yes, there is. There is a mic.
There is a mic.
So if you have questions, just step up to the mic.
Hello.
Hi, Jonas.
Oh, we know him already.
Yeah.
Hey!
I have a question for Jordan Knapp, Jordan Christine.
Hi.
As actors, sometimes you have to show up on a set to book a guest star of the TV show, and you might be showing up at a set where there's already an established production. In this role of yours, I'm assuming you shot for 1 or 2 days, but there's a red thread throughout the whole with this one character of Harper. How do you get into that, knowing you'll only be there for 1 day, but you have such a pivotal part of the, storyline? How do you get into that, both in acting, but also with the director?
Love that. Thanks, Jonas.
Yeah.
I think I had talked, I was very fortunate because I'm really good friends with Kellen. And I'm sorry, I should have said this. But so I.
Supposed to say.
Yeah, I know. He can only have one best friend.
We're sticking to it.
Yeah.
You guys will fight in the green.
Yeah. But I've been really good friends with Kellen for a long time, and we've had a rapport before that we have a through line of communication that is effective, that works. And so asking Kellen before if there was any voice samples of the little girl or any dailies that they had already filmed with her in it that we could reflect the position. And I think it's always preparation, like Capri said, it's prepare, because you have to be 500% ready the day you show up, because chances are you're going to be really uncomfortable on set. And you're going to be around a bunch of people, and you have to have a big breakdown crying scene in front of a bunch of people you don't know. Luckily, I knew a lot of people behind the camera as well that went to NYFA. But yeah, I would say just preparation before, and that was, working with a coach was super helpful for me, because Kathy begged the question of me, what are you losing in this scene? And for me, it was well, what if I don't get to talk to my mom again? That would really upset me. And just trying to dig deeper and deeper into that. If that answers. Yeah.
So I actually kind of have sort of the same question for you, because right now we are working with Kathy. I'm actually her student in her class.
Yay!
And go Kathy. And we're working on emotional prep right now. So sorry, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah.
We're on emotional prep right now. So any of you guys, if you guys have any advice on emotional prep, your scene really touched me. So if you have just any advice or what your, I know you said the question of what are you losing right now was something that she really asked you, but yeah, just any more information on how you guys emotionally prep, especially being on set and just quieting out all the noise and yeah. Whatever your advice is.
I think for me it's a terrible amount of script analysis and who is every single character in this script and who are they to you in your personal life and who are they to this character. And how are you similar and how are you different from this character? And yeah, those emotional points, like what, for me personally, that's just what works best is like, in real life, I get really upset about losing this person, so like, can we transfer it over there? Some other actors, I know they're better about like making imaginary circumstances more Stanislavski, whatnot, but I'll assume it's Meisner or scene study. Okay. Yeah, Meisner's like the leading thing in the industry right now too. I think that's important to note. And just always being able to like bounce off the moment, get the attention off yourself. That's the most important thing at the end of the day. Because if you're thinking about yourself, you're not contributing to the film, you know?
Wow. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I would say, for me, it's like find a safe space. Don't be afraid to like take those 5 minutes. I've collaborated with you a lot, and don't be afraid to just say, hey, I just need 5 minutes to kind of just mentally get in the zone. Lately, it's been music that's kind of helped me, or breathing. I started like doing a lot of breathing techniques, just because there's a lot of going on set, and you just can naturally get nervous, and then you just start overthinking, like you said. So it's just breathing and just trying to be in like meditation safe space. I think that's what's kind of helped me over time and what I'm learning. Yeah, because you get on set and there's going to be, like you said, a crap ton of people you've never met. Especially you get on some of those network shows and there's like 300 crew members. It's scarier than hell. So it's just knowing your job, what you're doing, what your character is, what your lines. Most important, know your damn lines.
Yeah.
Know your lines. And just be calm. Calm can take you so many places.
Yeah, the same thing. Just be selfish and take that time, because I feel like sometimes I don't, because I'm so concerned about everything else. But take that time on set, be alone, listen to music, meditate, do what you need to do to be prepared for yourself.
When working, I'll say just make it real for you. Like whatever the situation is, just find pieces that that you can make it as genuine and as authentic of an experience as possible. One of the other things I think is very important realistically is building that fourth wall. Because one of the things when you're working in front of so many different people, obviously like it's eyes on you. But if you build that fourth wall and just focus on, going back to what I said, just do the work, focus on your work. It's like, I love to say like build a fourth wall with a window, because obviously you gotta listen to the director. But if you can work on that, I think that freedom that comes from it just opens up opportunities.
I think just for filmmakers too, like listening to actors is kind of interesting because they give you everything. Like the movie sits on their shoulders. If you have a shaky camera, if you have bad lighting, but you have great acting and a great story, this can be a good movie. So let them play. Like that's the biggest thing, is let them have their fun and use their craft and stuff like that. Don't just think, oh, I just got to get this shot. Like let the actors take the story. You know?
Any other questions back here?
My question's for Kellen. Hindsight is 2020. If you had to do it all over again, what would you change or do differently? And is there something that you did that you're particularly proud about?
I would change it all. No, I'm just kidding. That's a hard one. I could probably pick something. I would take more risks, I think. I think I got so nervous because it was the first time I was working with like a substantial amount of money. And I was scared because I didn't want to go over budget or over time. So I would stick to my plan, and then if the plan didn't work, I'd have my fail-safe that I would go to. But there was times where I'd look at the footage and go, oh man, I could have done that. Like I had the time, I had the money, I just got nervous because I thought we weren't gonna make it. So there's a few places I would have taken a little more risks, and I think they would have paid off a little bit better. But you know, at the end of the day, it comes down to like, what is your audience doesn't know what risk you were gonna take, you know. So if it works, it works. And what was the other part? What am I proud of? I really am proud of the performances in this movie. I'm proud of like where I was able to go with the actors and what they were able to bring out of it, because I was worried. I'm saying it again. I was so worried about like whether or not it would stay a cohesive story and you'd be able to follow it. And I at the end of the day, I was very happy with what came out of that. Yeah. Good job, guys. Yeah.
My question is for Kellen as well. I'm just curious, with such, like you said, a complicated story and everything, how did you decide on the ending? I'm an actor and we're in writing class, and my issue right now is I have so many ideas and I want to write them all down and I want to have that cohesive story, but sometimes it's hard for me to choose, what I want to say and how I want to end it. So how did you get to that ending?
I was lucky with this one, I think, because the ending was where I started. But I still look back at it and I can see other ways that story. There's so many ways that story could go, and I think it kind of comes down to what are you trying to say, and your ending is kind of your statement on what you're trying to say, right? So. So through the whole story, what rather than what's the biggest set piece, what's the most climactic version of this, just simplify it down to what am I trying to say and what is going to make the best statement with that, and that's how I take it. I'll just I stay with like the thematic elements of it. Yeah. Now I can't unsee it now. Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes.
Concerning the casting, there were the people and you said that there were like the other auditions and everything. So did you go through only like agencies and management companies, or did you also have like actors who were not represented audition for you? How did all of that go?
And what did we work with? Breakdown Express?
Yeah, we just did. We just did Actors Access.
Actors Access, yeah.
I don't think we did it like casting. I think we just did Actors Access.
I think at one point we put it on all of them and we found out that Actors Access was kind of the best one.
There was a couple that we kind of, I think someone maybe, did we go through any of people have agencies?
Yeah, Charity has an agent. Actually, a lot of them have agents. Yeah, and it was kind of a mixture because there's such a big cast that we were pulling from people we knew. We were pulling from characters that were like very specific characters that we wanted to actually try and cast. Brandon, why I asked Brandon why I'm looking over at this guy is because he helped with casting. So he was our casting assistant. So he was there throughout the whole process of that.
As an actor, if you have the chance at all to be on the other side of the table, do it because it's really, really interesting. And it's things it's out of your control. It could just be a vibe, a look. There's so many millions of things that can happen, but it was cool being on that other side.
We would look through a demo reel and we would look through like about 3 seconds of a scene and go, nope, that's not it. And it's something small that you can just tell, and it's nothing about that person. It's just like they're not right for the part. So don't be discouraged by that. Like that's just it is what it is. It could be great actors, but we'd be like, they just don't fit that.
Yeah, it's great to learn that on the other side because you think, oh, I'll get into the scene towards the middle or end. Too late.
No.
Too late.
Yeah.
Totally.
Great. Other questions?
Hi.
Hi.
It was great, by the way. I loved it.
Thank you.
I have a question just for my own sake, and like I watch so many movies, and I'm like, I want to know, but I have the opportunity to ask the writer and director just so I can sleep tonight. But does Harper make it home?
The amount of phone calls.
I know.
Ellen, did she ever make it home?
It was sad. I cried. I was
I was gonna say good that you cried. Like.
Jordan made me really
Good.
Yeah.
We can talk about something else. We don't have to answer the ending. No, I'm just kidding. It's hard. I don't like to answer that because I think it's up to the audience to give that. Personally, I don't think she makes it home. I don't think she was ever home to begin with. So
there's so many different ways.
I know, but I don't think it's up to me at the end of the day. I think it's up to whoever watches it to determine that.
I would love to hear.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pick someone out. What do you think?
Everybody at the same time.
Wait, how many people want her to get home? Let's raise our hand.
Everybody should have their hands up.
Seriously.
Like about half.
No, don't go back to mom.
Okay.
They all secretly do. They just don't want to admit that they're off.
Yeah.
Hi, my
like
question is for everybody. How are you dealing with self-pressure, especially in this industry?
With what?
Self-pressure.
Self-pressure. Oh,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. That's some people's deal. Who wants to start?
Yeah, I'll start. I mean, you have to somewhat accept it. Like that's what movies are, right? Is like people have eyes on you all the time and what you're doing, and that's what the art is people watch and people make judgments and stuff. So there's like, I don't know, there's two parts of this. There's pressure from a particular film, or there's pressure in terms of my career and that type of stuff. And I think if you're talking career, it goes right back to what Capri said, is just keep doing the work and don't let the outside pressures of what everyone is telling you or where you think you should be kind of influence you. Just put your head down and work, and you'll get there if you keep making steps forward. And then the film stuff is what it is. I made the film. If you don't like it, you don't like it. To be honest. Yeah.
I would say trust in the process. Like they say this a lot during school, but it's the truest phrase, because I think about it now, and you think you're gonna graduate and it's like magically gonna be that first role and then you'll just be like riches, yeah. But it's more often than not, it's not. But like, I realize now I'm so much more hungry for these roles than I was back then. And the time that it's taking to just trust in the process and like let life happen is making you a better actor the entire time. And it's better to trust in that process and just whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. But I don't know, just enjoy yourself along the way as well. Like the self-pressure comes from not enjoying or putting expectations on top of your own head. And you don't need to do that. You gotta be happy before anything else. Because if you can't be happy, you're not gonna be a good actor, you know? Yeah.
Prolific.
Thanks.
I'm gonna say the same thing as trust the process. You're gonna be your worst critique. I mean, I feel like the pressure is just yourself.
It is.
You putting yourself, your own pressure on you. The world's different now with self-tapes. You don't go in the room anymore. So when you do self-tapes, you do 3 of them, you watch them, and you go, I hate everything I did. And you sit there, and then the rest of the night is ruined. Pressure on yourself, especially for these big projects that your agent's like, hey, do a good job. It's like, I'm not going to do it now. And so it's that pressure of almost now.
Ruin that.
I know. It's honestly just enjoy it, have fun. I do it where I'll just do 3 and then be done with it. 3 and be done with it, edit it, and send it. Because 95% of the time you're not going to get booked on anyways. So don't put, and I don't mean to be that person, but yeah, it's just kind of enjoyed and just send it out there. It's kind of just practice. Like it's just auditioning is just practice.
Yeah.
And have good people around you. Like you said, if you're sad or you're having financial issues, all creative juices go out the window. And I know it's such a, have money, you'll be better. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're gonna be so much happier. But it's just kind of having kind of a little bit of a grounded life and have good creative people around you. And I'll send auditions to him. Hey, what do you think? Or stuff like that. That's what I need. It's horrible, but yeah, just all of that wrapped in together. Yeah.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, wrap it up.
Be kind to yourself, because some days are absolutely awful. But then the next week will be amazing. And then it will be terrible again. But as long as you keep being kind to yourself, you'll get through it, because it's really hard sometimes.
And just to piggyback off what she said, this industry really is a roller coaster. Like, you can spend 1 year, phenomenal year. Next year, next year, I mean, it just keep going. So that's why I say you gotta have a love for it at the end of the day, because it will beat you up. You don't want to let that imposter syndrome seep in. I'm sure everybody has had those moments.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, just do the work, and don't. It's gonna sound weird to say, but love the craft, but don't care so much also. Like he said about these auditions, you're gonna get a ton of auditions, and most of the time, get no feedback, get nothing back from it. So just go in and just do it. Like have fun with the moment that you got, and forget about it. Go on to the next one. It's just a constant wheel. So
Remember why you started.
exactly.
Yeah.
That'll go away. That's what I'm saying. It's like you have to go back and remember where you started, because it gets really, really hard, and you're like, why even bother anymore? And so you just have to go back. Kind of think of yourself as that little kid who was like, I love movies and want to be an actor.
Yeah.
You really just kind of bring the kid out of yourself.
Any other questions back there? You have one more?
Oh, there's the other.
Two more.
person.
Three more.
Oh.
12 more.
We're here all week.
I mean, really far from the acting. I'm in the producing. So, as a writer director, I want to ask a question. What do you want it for producer, specialty for line producer? To what do you want it from producer except the time and money?
Good question. Great question.
Yeah. Anybody? No, always more money. I want people who can collaborate. I want storytellers too. I think the value of an idea is incredible. Like if you have someone who can come in and tell you when you're wrong or when something isn't working and can challenge you. I like that out of a producer because you don't always have the best idea. So yeah, I think someone who values the script as much as you do. Then they never will, but as close as you can get to that, right, is someone who's as passionate about it. That's what I want. If you're not just talking about the logistical stuff, yeah. Mm-hmm.
If I can also say, I feel like a producer, the more we go on with these sets, is like a mom or a dad. Like it's it's a caretaker of the set. So like being approachable is always very important.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Boy, you can tell I'm an actor, right? My voice. I don't have a question as much as I would like to just say how much I enjoyed everything that you've offered us today. You are definitely an actor's director as well as a writer. Yes. It showed throughout the film. You didn't ever have to worry about that through line because I was clocking everything that was there, and it was like, oh, they're all the same character, and it's spinning off into something else. It was the befores and the after, the moment before, the moment after, the emotional investment happened with every single performance that was there. From Jordan, you had that climactic moment, and you had this other moment. Everything was so full and flushed out. It's so apparent that you've done your work. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. It's really, really, really good. Okay, one more question? Yeah.
Hi, my name is Apollona. I'm an actress. I want to say that I really enjoyed the movie. Kellen, your vision is incredible, and acting and the way the movie was shot.
Thank you.
So my question is, Kellen, are you currently working on some new upcoming projects?
Yeah, I'm working on. No, I'm not. But I'm currently really pushing this movie, and that's like a big thing for me is trying to make sure that this gets the attention it needs. And I'm doing a lot of writing outside of that. That's kind of where my main focus is going. But as far as shooting, not shooting anything yet. I have plans to shoot something here in the near future. But I want to make sure. And I feel like everything I'm saying, I'm turning into a life lesson. But make sure to give your babies attention. Don't let them just kind of fall to the wayside, because I feel like a lot of people who make movies, it gets really tiring to make a movie. So after you just kind of sit there and I'm done, I'm ready to move on to the next thing. But yeah, I'm taking the time to really market and really get this one out there because I want to give it the attention because these guys all deserve it. Yeah. Festivals, yeah.
Kellen, what is the plan for this? I know you're doing festivals, but what do you plan? What would you like to see happen with this?
I'd like to make all my money back. We're going to festivals now. We had some offers for distribution, and I didn't really like the offers, and I realized that the movie has no crux or name talent to kind of go off of. So we're trying to build the rapport and send it to festivals and get that going so that people start paying attention to it, like you guys here, and then see how those offers change based on that. So right now we're going to Idyllwild in March. We're also streaming online in March. So if you know anybody who wants to watch it, we will be streaming from the 1st through the 12th on Cine. It's called CineJoy, but it's part of CineQuest. We're screening at CineQuest 2. And then we're going to Scotland too. I'm not going, but the film is going to Scotland. Yeah. So it's getting around, and hopefully more.
That's great. This has been so enjoyable, not just because you were at NYFA, but just to see everybody worked together, and this is such a wonderful project. I wish you so much luck with it. Thank you so much.